Welcome back again, Richard Marshall, back to the tea house. We're going to drink some more rum because we haven't had enough rum tonight, apparently. And I've got my last weird tea. I'm not going to make a weird tea for every rum because if I'm going to be, more or less wasted, I don't also want to be up all night long. And it's already pretty late. So I'm going to go ahead and make some Ultraviolet. This is a little coin of Ultraviolet. The only thing that's weird about this tea is that it's purple. It's a purple-red tea. And because it's a purple-red tea, the plants themselves have purple leaves. And so that's just like a weird mutant morph of the tea plant. But I'm going to make this one. It's a red tea. You said your tea experience before this was like sweet tea, iced tea, things like that. This is the same type of tea, except this one's from Yunnan. It's from China, same place the pu'er comes from. Fully oxidized tea, making it red tea. Purple red tea being the color of the living plant. And I picked this one really just because it's going to go well with rum. Based on my two rums that I've tried, I have a little bit of a taste for rum now. I know kind of what it's going to taste like. So I figured this will be a good match because it hits in the back of the mouth like you were saying rum does. And now, let's hear about these rums.
Okay, so we've got two here. We're going to go we're going to try the first one here being an American rum. America's not really synonymous with making rum, even though there are at least 100 plus distilleries currently making something. Typically speaking, that's not going to be a highly sought after product. Now, there's a very few select people. Andalusia Whiskey Company here in Central Texas makes a phenomenal rum when they actually have a barrel ready, which is my biggest complaint. But you've got some great stuff coming out of Maine, some great stuff coming out of New York, that New England style of rum. You got really good stuff coming out of all that sugar cane from Louisiana down in South Texas, and especially stuff over in California. So this here is actually Louisiana cane, but it is actually made by Cedar Ridge up in Iowa, in Cedar Rapids. So this is definitely one of the more interesting, and what makes this one so special, 5 years in their own ex-bourbon barrels, 3 years inside of a state port cask. So there's a couple of really interesting and really good characteristics on this one that I think really will complement some tea. So
fantastic. Excited.
You guys want to jump into this one?
The Cedar Ridge?
The Cedar Ridge. This is the Lost Pirate, 8-year aged, 3 years in port casks.
Okay. See, they've got R on the bottle, so they're really leading into the pirate theme.
So they are. It's so the Cedar Ridge shingle casks or their batch product always have some form of labeling. So the honey barrels all have some honey reference to them. It's always something very unique with that distillery.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Is tasting cedar just me being a hack? Is that?
It may be. I think it's something. It might be subjective because of the name.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm like. It's like, am I just getting that because it's called Cedar Ridge?
Now, for me, like my tasting notes on this one here, sweet candy right there in the front. This is a molasses-based rum. It is very simplistic in relation to everything else we've tried tonight. But 3 years in that estate port cask, and this is unsulfured molasses, but it is a very high sulfur port. For me, I can detect a sulfur content on the back side of that one that I feel gives me just a slight astringency inside of a rum that normally does not have any sort of like back body or back bite. Something that's normally a very cocktail-driven forward style rum really kind of gets some drinkability with that addition of that heavy port influence, but that sulfury port influence.
I definitely get like a sugary thing. You definitely get like a molassesy sugary thing, and like kind of like a puffy marshmallowy kind of thing on it. And trying with the hold on.
There was honey on that as well. It was a nice, but again, peppery in the back. The fruit notes are a darker fruit in there. Wow.
Yeah, if I was gonna say like maybe like the kind of like the black cherry stuff that you put in a pie. Not actual cherries, but the stuff that you like
the filler.
Yeah,
the
but
pie
not the just like smooth stuff, like the stuff that's in a can and it's got cherry ness to it, but it's from a can.
Kind of like a preserve in a weird way,
but not smooth like that. Like it's still got chunks of cherry, and you're like there's distinct cherryness texture to it. That
and a barrel spice going on there as well.
8 years, and I do believe the proof on us 115 proof. So that's helping you out a little bit when it comes to just how it hangs on. And honestly, like when it comes to American rums, I find this one is one of the more layered American rums that you can get for, say, sub $100.
Right.
Because a lot of the really good American rums, 100, 150, 200. I've seen as high as 250 for some distilleries.
The tannins in the rum play well with the tea.
Yeah, that's why I picked this tea. I was like, this is going to be the same profile as rum in a general sense. You know, having not tried them.
Okay, so the next rum down the line is actually from Martinique. It's the Volcanic terroir-driven Rhum JM Terroir Volcanique at 43% alcohol by volume. This is the first rum in our lineup that is actually an agricole rum. A very defined, very clear, set of rules go hand in hand with agricole. That can be explained in a much later time. What I really want you to focus on here is this is fresh pressed cane juice. This is from a single farm, a single subset region at the base of a volcano, where that volcanic ash and those previous eruptions have helped to drive that flavor in a very specific, narrow pathway. The overall brand portfolio of this is much wider, but I find this really kind of shows and highlights a very signature style of rum. I do believe this is a blend of pot and column distillation both. So it should give you a good, well-balanced palate, but at the same time should give you something light and fruity enough to kind of balance off of the more kind of static, I don't know the word for it, but like a very static, flavorful tea.
And Martinique's in the Caribbean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Can I get just a little bit more of that? I don't have to drive like y'all do. I feel like this is too little rum. I feel like I'm going to like this one. You thought I was going to like this one. This is one you thought I was going to like, right? Yeah.
It's got like a rye spice on the nose. It reminds me of rye.
Yeah. I love me some
all
rye.
ex-European oak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I like the idea that it's cane juice instead of molasses or sugar or something like that, because I grew up drinking fresh pressed cane juice. I grew up in Houston's Chinatown, and you go to the Vietnamese places where you get banh mi and stuff, and they're pressing that cane juice for you. So,
wow, that went.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
That went in a very different direction.
So nice. Oh my God, I'm getting a little bit of your dirty sock there. Is that? Would you think so?
There's a little bit of that in here.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's so nice. Mm-hmm. What's the proof on that one, you said?
So this one here is 43% alcohol by volume.
So that's the lowest proof that we have.
The lowest proof we've had by far.
Maybe it's just the lack of being so strong that I'm like, oh, it's so smooth.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I usually like high proof liquors, so it's actually, there's something, I took like a big sip of that one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
it's very clean. It tastes very clean and crisp.
And like I said, this if you get into Rhum JM, there is a much wider flavor portfolio in their brand. This one here really just goes to show you and really just goes to highlight, what uniqueness is right there in that one single terroir-driven area. And terroir is actually becoming a very big, hot topic, buzzword issue in rum. You've got the likes of Mark Rainier, who he used to be, with Bruichladdich, and then he was with a couple of other places. Now he's doing Renegade rum out of Grenada, and he's bringing single farm terroir, really heavily terroir-driven rums from the island of Grenada, and they're on the identical fashion to this here. And every one of those is absolutely phenomenal.
Wow. So something I'm getting from this, which is really interesting, because coming from the tea world first and the whiskey world second, is that terroir is so much more apparent for me in rum than it is for whiskey. And I feel like the degrees of separation between the plant and the product is much, much lower. Obviously, there's no degrees of separation between the plant and the product for tea. It's the plant that is in the pot, and you're steeping that, and you're drinking the plant juice directly. But being that it's sugarcane, it's not just some mysterious blend of grains, because whiskey, you can talk about the grains, but it's not something people are thinking about as much. And you're thinking about, of course you're thinking about where it's grown and thinking about where it's processed, but I feel like you're tasting the process a lot more.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you're tasting the plant a lot more in rum, which is
in
cool.
whiskey, this is how small craft distillers differentiate themselves, is by going to more local farms or using heirloom style grains and then trying to make different flavors. If you're using a commercial grain like corn, you're not going to get as much variation, but it is the largest commodity available.
Right.
So it's easily accessible and it's quite inexpensive.
It follows really well.
Yeah. This is my favorite pairing of the night, I think.
Yeah, this is
tea
a fun
with
rum.
this rum. Yeah, this is lovely. This is really nice. And terroir is a big, big thing with tea too. You taste it super, super strong. We've got teas from Nanwa Mountain. We've got teas from Manwa, and they're within eye shot of each other. And they are. I could tell you which one was which with a blindfold on for sure. And they're like 30, 50 kilometers from each other.
So what's fun is when you look up and you do some research on some of the terroir, especially this Volcanique. Whenever they're taking photos of the fields, you see the volcanic rock inside the soil. Like they plowed up the rock. Right. The rock sits at the top. Plant and go. Yeah. And it's it's an amazing process to get to watch.
That's what I'm here for sure. Stuff like that. Oh man, yeah, and like even to the point of having different patches on the same mountain, in different elevations, different patches of the same mountain. So I'm excited to be able to encounter a little bit of that in the world of rum and bring us back to that planty aspect a little bit. Thank you again, Marshall, for being here. And you really made rum a thing for me tonight. So I'm deeply, deeply appreciative. I always want to know. If I'm going to be consuming anything, my favorite way is to know the story. That's what we try to do. We specialize in farm direct tea. We're always trying to convey the story of this tea, and it really gives a huge amount of dimension and perspective when you're drinking it. For me to know that this is fresh pressed cane, that it's that volcanic liquor, and also your storytelling really makes it come alive. So I really appreciate this is a really beautiful and rare opportunity to get to share someone's passion with them. So cheers to both of y'all. Cheers, Richard, Cory, for making this happen. And oh yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. We'll cross them.
You don't.
My rum's gone.
But why is the rum gone?
I don't know. Marshall, you brought too much rum.
No, there's never enough rum.
Never enough rum.
Wow, so good, so good. Thank you guys so much.
So Marshall, where can we find you?
Rough Spirits on YouTube and Instagram is the best way to follow me. Always free. If you ever see me live, if you ever see me anywhere, feel free and say hello. Jump on in, have some fun, talk rum with me.
Sohan?
WestChinaTea.com. Go check it out. Also, West China Tea on Instagram, West China Tea on TikTok, Tea House Ghosts on YouTube, also Justice Cup on YouTube. Kind of got two different things going on. And obviously come here in Austin, Texas to I-35, to 4706 North I-35. We're open Tuesday to Sunday from 12 to 8, Tuesday to Thursday, 10 to 10, Friday through Sunday, and we do all kinds of events, and we're always serving tea here at this table. So please, if you actually can come here, please come and experience this place. And if you can't, go visit our website. We will send you some stuff, and you can drink tea along with us.
WhiskeyProvisioner.com. Like, follow, share, follow all the social medias. We're here for you. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. We want to know you guys better.
That's it. Awesome. Oh, great job, guys. That felt so nice. That was a really good session. I really appreciate y'all.